Chelsea made it through last night. I thought Cardiff and the fans were brilliant at their own place last night in the Carabao Cup. But they are through. And Enzo Maresca made wholesale changes with a completely different 11 from the one that started against Everton. So, Danny, when you break it down, for Maresca and Chelsea, a third semi-final in 18 months, is that a track record you can't ignore?
Oh, for sure. The more success he has, his stock rises. He's done a good job. There's no doubt in that. I think as well, because of the 2 trophies last year, getting in the top 4 is probably not talked about enough. That was a good achievement. I think as long as he can stop his little rants, he'll be fine. I think the team's exciting to watch. They've got good variation in terms of personnel to play. We saw that with the change last night. Yeah, I mean, the negativity that sometimes comes from Chelsea fans regarding a few bad results is a bit silly as far as I'm concerned, because they've got such a young squad. They're going to have that.
Yeah. And Simon, if the Conference League was a runt of the litter and the Club World Cup lacked value, what would a Carabao Cup trophy represent for Maresca and Chelsea?
Not much, I suspect. I mean, we used to call it the Worthless Cup when it was the Worthington Cup.
Oh, come
on. Obviously, yes, you know that. Obviously, the national outpouring of admiration for Newcastle winning it was something that we should all behold.
Jim started that.
He did. He was the head of that particular...
I will still maintain you had to be there to see what it meant to the fans of the football club.
We didn't have the same cavalcade of emotion when Palace won the FA Cup, which is a bigger tournament.
We did an hour and a half on Palace when you won that.
I had to sit in a studio and profess undying love for Newcastle. Otherwise, you and Keown sat there saying what a miserable sod I was.
I know you're not one for an eye for detail, but we did an hour.
I don't know how you dare.
We did an hour and a half on Crystal Palace.
You didn't.
Winning the FA Cup.
You had to be dragged there. I stretched the content. I stretched it and stretched it. For Maresca, what does it mean for Maresca? I don't know.
Maresca?
Yeah,
Maresca.
However the pronunciation.
No problem.
Maresca, right? Whatever it is.
Leverkusen.
I mean, look, the bottom line is he's doing a decent job, but his outburst the other day makes it difficult to give him any latitude. He's the sort of person, if he was a florist, he'd close it on Valentine's Day. It's stupid what he said the other day. And it probably put him in a situation where ultimately it'll cost him his job in the longer term. Because I would imagine that
no matter what,
I would imagine that directive was at Egbali, and that was my thinking when I heard it, and thought to myself, you fool. You've marked your card. You've beaten Lincoln and you've beaten Wolves to get to a semi-finals of a League Cup. Pack it in now. This is a decent cup competition, but it's not what Chelsea have been set up over the years to win.
I think if he wins it in conjunction with another Champions League position and a good run in the Champions League,
he'd have done a good job.
It all comes together. It's blocks. It's building blocks. If they win the what's it called now? Carabao Cup.
Carabao Cup.
If they win that and finish 7th, it's not as worth it. It's not as worthwhile.
Yeah, we know that the build-up to this game was dominated by Maresca, telling everybody post Everton in the last 48 hours, as far as he was concerned, were the worst of his Chelsea career. There was a general feeling on his behalf that he wasn't being supported. But then, what do you know, he was pushed on that. And predictably, after the Cardiff match, he was asked again about how he felt about this. And they tried to guide him back into what he had said about this lack of support that he'd alluded to over the weekend. But last night, he made it all about the fans.
I'm just happy, as you said. We're going to play another semi-final in 18 months, and I think it's what the fans deserve. Appreciate, always thankful. I said many times in many press conferences, the support, they have been always there, knowing that any support in the world, when you don't win, they are not happy. So in some moment that we didn't win games, they have been not happy, but it's normal. But overall, the fans have been always there.
And so since the weekend, have you had the chance to speak to your bosses, to the sporting directors, or to see them again after tonight's game, just to talk things through?
No, as I said yesterday, the day after Everton, I start to prepare Cardiff, focus on Cardiff. Now I just said on the bus I will watch Newcastle, and I didn't speak with one. I didn't speak. No, it's okay.
It's okay. I haven't spoken to either Egbali or Bowley. Do you think he has, Simon? Because it's odd, surely, that he hasn't.
Depends what their routine is. if their routine is to speak to their manager on a regular basis and to find them, I mean, that's the inference, isn't it? That they are very involved in how the team gets set up and who gets played and how the squad gets rotated and all this observation. So if that was their routine, I would suspect they've had a conversation. If it wasn't, I doubt they would have made a beeline for him. They'll, like most people of influence and power, they wait for you in the long grass. And Maresca will find himself in that at some point. If he's looking for any latitude in the future, if the team goes on a wobble and looking for some support, he just burnt that bridge.
Can I push you on that? Do you think he's done himself here?
Yeah, I think he's a fool. I think it's a foolish thing to have done. I don't know what Danny thinks about it in terms of the way that his football managers say things at times, that we all know that sport's steeped in emotion and steeped in it. I think you cannot spit in the eye of people that you employ by. You cannot bite the hand that feeds you. You can challenge them. By all means, challenge them. By all means, flex when you're with them. But
well, I said the same Saturday night on Match of the Day. He's a symptom of what football's become. Players and managers with a self-inflated view of themselves, and egotistical, and they live in this bubble. And I thought it was wonderful for a while and did silly things and said silly. Your own self-importance becomes magnified because you're wealthy and because you're famous and you're on the telly all the time and you're talked about. It's what football's created.
But if you're winning things, and he is, does it matter?
No, the more you win, the more you can talk. I think someone like Eddie Howe's a great example of someone who's grateful to be in the job and appreciative of being in the job and conducts himself in the right way and says the right things. Unfortunately, there's not many Eddie Howe's about anymore.
But when they win, they very rarely feel the necessity to be emboldened to say stupid things. They'll say it to their management.
Well, they don't need to.
They don't need to. I mean, you saw. I mean, when Mourinho decided that he was going to have a tantrum, people forget this. Back in 2007, I think they lost in a UEFA Champions game to Molde or someone like that. And already he was at it. Mourinho. He was already at the idea that ultimately he wasn't getting what he wanted and started to have a little bit of a turn, and out he went in no uncertain terms. And that's Mourinho. But the top managers, they don't really have a nibble in the media because they're winning. You'd think it would embolden them, but those guys that win have a different characteristics because they're the grown-ups in the room. They're the ones that don't have to pretend to be anything. It's like when you meet superstars, they're the ones with the smallest riders. Yeah. The little pipsqueak influencers that are so-called big time, the ones with the biggest riders and biggest expectations in their dressing rooms.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, Simon. Coming back to it, just before we hit the break, Iqbali and Bully will not forget, of course they don't, that they're hugely seasoned, experienced businessmen. You think this might end up being the undoing of Maresca?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if it wasn't. I wouldn't be sitting here and projecting in a crystal ball what date that lands at. I think the influence in the room is Iqbali. He is part of the 62% shareholding in this football club. He's the power in this discussion. Bowley might be the public face and the very capable operator. He is. Yeah. But the direction of travel, I think, is under the auspice of Iqbali, and I don't think you spit in his eye.